Hey, so in this video we are going to cover this Scrapy code, or go over this code that Scrapy by default wrote for us, and also we will go over the two data points that we scraped previously. Let's go to the site. So this includes this data point and also this one, and we will yield it in our Scrapy code somewhere in the parse function. So let's begin with the source code itself. So as you can see, the spider subclass is scrapy.spider and defines some attributes and methods. Name, for example, identifies obviously the spider name. It must be unique within a project, so that is, you can't really set the same name for different spider, even though they are in the same project structure. Allow domains is a list of obviously allowed domains. If Scrapy encounters, for example, some different domain other than quotes.toscrape.com, it will not process it and it will automatically filter it out. Most of the time you would encounter this if you are, crawling every URL on the site. Start URLs is either by default tuple, or you can define it as a list, and it's just it will be the pretty much first URL that Scrapy will process. You don't need to actually use www.parse, so let's exclude this. And parse is Scrapy default callback method in the scrapy.spider, or aka the basic template that Scrapy offers. So this method is called when or for the requests without an explicitly assigned callback. Defining some other name, for example, will not work. So if you type here foobar, it will not work, or Scrapy will get an error. It has self, obviously, and the response self is because it's in a class, right? And response because it will get the response object or HTML notes or HTML source code from this page. Let's save it as it is, and let's go back to the terminal. And here we have two data points. So the first one is somewhere here above, so the h1 tag text, which is located here. So if we copy this line and paste it into our parse method and assign something like h1 underscore tag as a variable name, and it's equal to this expat selector. And also let's go back to the terminal. This is the second data point is located at the end. So if we copy and paste this into our Scrapy code and name this, for example, tags variable, is equal to the pretty much this expat selector, and we will yield this two items. So by yielding pretty much these two data points, we will print it out in Scrapy output, and then you can maybe get this data to the CSV, JSON, XML, or any other database. So to yield it, we type in obviously the dictionary key. The first one will be h1 tag, for example, and obviously the key will be, or the value, sorry, will be h1 tag. And then the second set of keys and values will be tags. So type in tags as a key value, and then as an actually value, we type in tags. We will save this and go back to our terminal and open actually additional tab here. Let's maximize this. And first things first, of course, we need to go to our root directory. So we are changing directory into the desktop, and then to the quote spider. We hit enter, and if configuration file is present, as it is, so we are in the root directory, which is great. So how do you actually run it, or run the Scrapy spider code really, is by typing in Scrapy. You don't obviously have to do this, but command is here. So Scrapy crawl and then run a spider, right? So pretty much type in Scrapy, then crawl, and then name of the spider. Name of the spider can be retrieved either with the Scrapy list, which will print out two spider names. So this is the one that we are looking for. Or you can go to your text editor and see that name is quotes. So let's copy it from here, go back to the terminal. So type in Scrapy, then crawl to run, Scrapy Spider, and then paste the spider name. And let's hit enter. And here we have a bunch of really output or logs. And as you can see, so it's some things really are similar to the Scrapy shell. So that Scrapy is started, overridden settings, extensions, middlewares, etc. What you need to know is just pretty much that when Scrapy is started and when it finished, really. So pretty much all of these data or rows of the output. So here we have that Spider is opened, that it crawled at the beginning, obviously 0 pages, and you will get this exact message every minute or so. So you can get how many there are crawled page and also scraped page. Telnet console, so you can copy and paste this IP address and then listen to it. And here we have the first URL, which is scraped, which is going to go to our homepage and then go to the /robots.txt. This actually page is not present, and that's the reason why we got 404. And then the second one is successful, which just goes to the homepage. So let's copy this link and then navigate to the Google Chrome and then paste it in here. And as you can see, it's not found. And the reason why this actually happens is because Scrapy by default, so if you go to the root directory, as I was saying, Scrapy by default will go to the start URLs and then it will append /robots.txt file to figure out to be a bit more friendlier to the site, let's say it like that, and to figure out the rules of actually what can and cannot be scraped. So we want to exclude this, so we go to the quote spider and then go to the settings.py, open it with your text editor. And here, if you see, there will be comments first that obey robots.txt rules, and then robots.txt _obey is equal to true. What you need to just do is set it to false, so type in false, and then save it, close it, and then finally go back to the terminal. Terminal is here, and then once again run it. So Scrapy, crawl, and the name of the spider will be quotes. Hit enter, and you will see that the message will be removed. So previously we have somewhere here message that robots.txt page was crawled and it returned 404 page status, but currently we don't get that because we excluded robots.txt obey. So we just scraped one page, and as you can see, we scraped it from here, and then we, in the dictionary keys and set of values, this is pretty much our yield statement. And since we scraped it just one page, then the info message of closing spider with the message that it's finished is displayed right after the scrape. And then there will be some bunch of Scrapy stats. So these all messages are pretty much the stats. And here what you need to really know is that if you are scraping some large site, for example, you will want to see the response status count. So since we only scraped one page here, we get 200 as a successful, as previously discussed, and 1 is a value. Finish reason, which is finished, also finish time, and also you have start time, so you can calculate how much exactly time it took to run Spider. Item scraped count is also important, and we only scraped one data or really item because this is the page that we scraped. And let's see debug messages and also the info messages, which goes to the log count. So if you got any kind of, or if you think there was some error in the Spider code, you will go to the log count /error and see if there were any kind of, or how many errors there would be. But as you can see, in our case, we didn't get any kind of error. And that would be pretty much it for this video, and I'll see you in the very next one.